Let's see how it handles. Right, let's get back on the road. And in case you're wondering how he did this extreme stunt driving, well, actually this is how. We used a big trailer and a truck. The 1007 is a heavy car for its size at 1200 kilograms, and even the 1.6 takes a bit of time to get to 60 at 12.6 seconds. The smaller 1.4 diesel and petrol engines take even longer. And there's no chance of the amusing handling or sharp steering that small Peugeots used to be famous for. This is a top-heavy box, and you feel it around every bend. The limits of grip are reached very quickly. The only other slight downside is the price. Now, the 1007 starts at 10,600 for the 1.4 petrol, which is a base model, and goes right up to 12,600 for the 1.6 sport. The problem with it is, there's lots of cars competing for that kind of cash in this sector. Mind you, the sliding doors might just swing it for you. The new Peugeot 1007, what does it mean to me? Well, it's boxy and it's really slow. But then again, it's innovative and practical. Most of all, it's original. And that means a hell of a lot to me.
Time for another one of our world-famous shootouts.
This week we've got the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 MR FQ400 against the slightly better named Noble M400.
Evos have always been loony, but this one makes the others look like milk floats. It has 405 horsepower and costs 47 grand. The Noble M400 is more expensive at £56,000, but puts out just 25 brake horsepower more. Unlike the Evo, it doesn't rely on sophisticated electronics, just a finely tuned rear-wheel drive chassis. So, two money no object track day specials, but which is quickest? The M400 is the track version of our fan favourite, the M12. There is so much torque in this engine, it's just phenomenal. There's a lot of power, around 6,000 RPM out there. Look at that, 80, 90, 100, just so much grunt. It doesn't have ABS, so you have to be just a little bit on your toes, quite literally, when it comes to braking. And if you do get into a spot of bother, a bit of cadence braking never hurt anyone. It's such a great track day car. Right, let's do a lap time. The best thing about the Noble is its steering. Whether it's a fast corner or a slow one, you can feel precisely where the limit of grip is. It flows into the bends and the twin turbos spool up without much lag to rocket you out the other side. It storms around in 49.54 seconds. Now, for the Evo. It's absolutely packed with technology. It has got four-wheel drive, an active yaw control and active centre differential. And it all helps propel this beast to 60 miles an hour in 3.5 seconds. It's absolutely incredible the speed with which you go around the corners. Can you imagine this is a family saloon car? Bring it on. This would be the one thing that makes me have a family. Okay, time to do a proper lap. Unlike the Noble, the Evo is quite difficult to keep in the power band, so by the radar complex it's already nearly a second down. While the Noble dances through the corners, the Evo has to be manhandled, and the deficit grows to 1.5 seconds by the hairpin. It loses out by a whopping 2.49 seconds by the finish. The Noble proves that there's no match for a well-sorted chassis.
This is diesel, and it seems we love it. This year, diesels are set to take a third of the new car market for the first time. Back in 2001, it was only 15%. Even people who'd never dare utter the dreaded D word are becoming converts. So should you be considering a diesel next time round? Well, let's have a look at some of the standard arguments first.
This is one of Britain's best-selling diesels, the Ford Mondeo TDCi. According to the official figures, it does 47 mpg. This 1.8 petrol Mondeo has roughly the same power, but it only does 37 mpg. So, with diesel costing about 2p more per litre than petrol, how much money does the diesel save you? Well, after 10,000 miles, I'd have saved £193. Worth having, but frankly, I'd expected a bit more. And there's a bigger problem. The list price of the diesel Mondeo is £2,100 more than the petrol one. So I'd have to do 110,000 miles before I started saving any money at all. Some diesels do start paying for themselves quicker, particularly big 4x4s. But clearly, it pays to do a few simple sums before assuming diesel will save money. Company car tax rules favour cars with lower carbon dioxide emissions. In other words, diesels. Well, there's always been a keen debate about whether diesels cause more localised pollution by throwing out loads of nasty particulates. That's what the government believes, and it's planning to remove the tax break that diesel company cars currently enjoy from next year. So, regardless of which version of the science you prefer, the fact is that running a new diesel company car is going to cost you more from January 2006. Buy a new diesel BMW X5 Sport Auto, and according to Used Price Guru's CAP, you'll lose £5,000 less depreciation in the first year than if you'd bought the equivalent petrol. Good executive diesels also hold their value very well. But buy the same cars used, and the tables are turned. The inflated second-hand prices take ages to claw back through fuel savings. In today's market, a relatively cheap used 330i is probably a much better buy than a costly used 330d. So it pays not to take all those pro-diesel arguments at face value. But there's an anti-diesel cliché that isn't quite accurate either. When Tiff tested a petrol Mini Cooper against a diesel Skoda Fabia, it was the Skoda that was quickest round the track. And the new Mercedes A200 CDI, Vicky drove earlier in the series, is quicker to 60 and faster flat out than the A200 petrol. In fact, the best reason for buying a diesel is that these days they can be as good to drive as their petrol equivalents. Take this Volkswagen Golf GT TDI, one of our favourite diesels. It's actually only half a second slower from 50 to 75 miles an hour than our current car of the year, the new Golf GTI. Diesel's creator, Dr. Rudolf Diesel, would be proud. You can even order it with Volkswagen's fancy Direct Shift DSG gearbox that gives you quicker changes than a manual. I've been driving it around for the last week or so, and it's great fun. I've even got 45 mpg. In fact, we're so impressed by it that we've decided to give one away as this week's competition prize. It's a 5-door with that desirable DSG gearbox, and it's worth just over 20 grand. To begin with a chance of winning, all you've got to do is answer this simple question. Who invented the diesel engine? Was it A, Dr. Diesel, B, Professor Petrol, or C, General Oil? Call 09015 339955 to enter, or text GEAR plus A, B or C to 81555. Lines close at midday on Monday the 9th of May. We'll remind you of the numbers at the end of the show, and you can also enter the competition via our website, 5.tv/5th gear, where you'll also find details of our download feature. Jodie Kidd is the 26-year-old British supermodel with a passion for fast cars, who wants to swap the catwalk for the racetrack.
So many years I've just walked up and down bits of wood wearing amazing creations, and now I can actually really test myself and use my brain.
Jodie has entered this year's Maserati Trofeo, a glamorous one-make championship contested around Europe. We teamed up for round one, and this is the story of our weekend. It's certainly a series for the well-heeled. Renting a car for the 7 races costs £100,000. You can share that. 2 drivers can do that.
Yeah, you can get a professional in, or you can get a good friend of yours in, so you can like share the money, whatever. It depends how competitive you are.
Go on your own.
Or go on your own.
You know, any colour as long as it's what, blue or white.
Blue or white, but you can. I think there is an optional extra for money, and then you can have any colour you want.
And Maserati, they book the hotel for you. They sort out all your food, the cars there, the mechanics. They prepare all the cars. So all you got to do is get yourself there.
Absolutely.
We were heading 20 minutes out of Milan to a circuit famous for its high speeds, Monza. Unusually, it's sited in the middle of a public park, and the long straights see Formula One cars hitting 230 miles an hour, although the Trofeo organisers were keen to point out to their part-time racers that safety was a priority.
Guardalo in giallo, perché quello è il limite dove dovete andare con la vettura.
The entry list comes from all over Europe and includes investment bankers, supercar dealers, wealthy industrialists, and even DJ Ringo, a sort of Italian version of Dr. Fox. Everyone drives the same sort of car, and this is ours, yellow number 6. It's a stripped-out version of the Maserati Grand Sport with a 4.2-litre V8 and 425 horsepower. The cars are all prepared in-house with the same suspension settings, the same tyres and the same wing angles, so everyone is on a level playing field. It's a true test of driver's skill, and the only way to gain an advantage is to team up with someone who's been there and done it all before. With tactics discussed, it was time for qualifying. Just one 40-minute session and on a damp but drying track, so I did a gentlemanly thing and let Jodie go first.
Here we go, Monza.
For the inexperienced, these are the hardest conditions to judge. We wanted to give Jodie as many laps as possible, but I wanted to crack at getting the car as far up the grid as I could. With most cars changing to slick tyres quite soon, I had to wait patiently for my turn to come. Then, because the meeting was running behind schedule, the session was abruptly cut short.
So 4 laps and a deck of flags out. Been useless.
The track actually dried quicker than we thought, so Jodie said a couple laps too long, she's cross about.
I don't know, I just kind of up. Beep. And I should have come in.
Well, she shouldn't know that, it's a hard choice to make.
It's my fault, my fault of just flying around and not really paying enough attention.
We thought we had 12 minutes left and it seemed like about 6 minutes.
Tip did great, he managed to get a couple of laps in on the slicks.
I think about 10. One more lap, all I wanted was one more lap. One more lap. Race day, and the tension builds. The trick is to make sure it doesn't get the better of you. Sometimes you get nervous.
Yeah.
I mean, gripping the wheel just makes the car nervous.
Right.
You actually sort of
Relax.
relax.
Let it flow, let it happen.
Maserati Trofeo races are 45 minutes long with a compulsory 1.5-minute pit stop somewhere in the middle, even if you're driving alone.
Heartbeat rising. Every race you get nervous.
The race begins with a rolling start, although one eager Italian decided to go even before the lights turned green. But I got him back and edged him out on the exit of the first chicane. Next up, a blue one, dispatched on the way out of Ascari. We were ninth.
Come on, Tiff! Tiff's done one already.
Then another good hop over the curbs at the first chicane gave him the momentum to take us to 8th. But all wasn't quite right with my Maserati.
I don't have to throttle too much because the wind just sheer wheel spin.